Good morning to you all. Happy Sunday, December 15th, 2024. Hope you guys are all doing well this morning. This is our first weather video we've been able to post in a while. And starting today, I will be putting out videos consecutively for you guys to be able to have, especially as we get through Christmas here and into the start of January. And then as we get closer, we will be entering hopefully not an active severe weather season, but it's looking like it's going to be definitely possible. We do have severe weather to cover for today. We've also got a warming trend that will be on the way for the next couple of days before we have another cold shot of air that comes in down out of Canada at the end of the week. And then kind of going forward, we'll talk about what could happen for Christmas as we kind of get that into factor. We are about 10 days away from Christmas, guys, which is super, super crazy. It's just flying by. I'm going to get you guys that updated forecast today, kind of talk about what's going to happen. There might be a live stream tonight if this tornado risk in eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas and portions of southwestern Missouri does happen. So we'll kind of be on standby for that. We'll kind of give you guys the details on that here in just a second. But I'm going to start out by looking at the overall board here across what we're looking at here in the United States. We did have our first confirmed tornado on the ground yesterday outside of the Santa Cruz area in California. First time the San Francisco National Weather Service has ever had to issue a tornado warning, which I think is wild, but they've been having those atmospheric rivers over there. They can produce tornadoes here and there with different things that happen. So a lot of snow falling in the higher elevations of the Mammoth Caves Mountains over there as well. Different higher elevations up in California, the ski resorts getting in on that snowfall. So good for them getting that. But that tornado is not good. That was a confirmed tornado. I believe they gave it an EF1 prelim is what I saw. So I'll update you guys on that when I get more information on that. But I want to go and start out by showing you guys the severe weather threat for today. This is a low end threat for today. We have a marginal risk for severe weather back here east of Oklahoma City and in northern Texas here, the Red River area up into Tulsa, Springfield, Arkansas, or Springfield, Missouri, I should say, down here in northwestern Arkansas. This is our first kind of mediocre severe weather threat we've had. We've kind of had these spotty, marginal, and slight risk here and there. They haven't done too much. We haven't had a big severe weather event in a while, and I'm not expecting that anytime soon, at least as of right now. But we are going to kind of focus in. There is all modes for severe weather tonight. This is an overnight threat once again tonight. We're going to have storms initiate right around the 9-10 o'clock hours, what it looks to be, and kind of go from there through the overnight hours through tomorrow morning before kind of fizzling out. We will have some pretty decent instability. Lapse rates are pretty poor today. We need that for bigger severe weather to happen. Just not an overall big, crazy setup for today, but it's enough to where we could get an isolated conditional tornado threat with wind and hail as well. I'll kind of show you guys what the radar is looking like over the next little bit of time here, and the HERM model specifically does a better job with this. You got some rain, some showers, and some storms that kind of develop this afternoon that are non-severe, and then we get that boundary to move in, and then right around the midnight hours here, we could see some isolated showers and storms pop up. I wanted to see also what happens up here in western Kentucky, southern Illinois, and eastern Missouri. Potentially, we're in a general thunderstorm risk here, so kind of watching the trend for this, maybe potentially something tomorrow, low end threat. We'll kind of watch that and see for maybe a damaging wind threat. But these are those cells with that front that's going to come through early tomorrow morning. So it doesn't look super, super impressive, but any one of these cells can latch onto instability, can latch onto that favorable environment that's going to be in place tonight and could produce an isolated tornado, wind, or hail threat. Like I said, just a lot of rain that's going to fall across the board here for the Ozarks, portions of the southern Missouri foothill areas, into portions of the southern Ohio area, and into eastern Oklahoma and northern Texas there along the Red River. So just a lot of rainfall, beneficial rainfall that we're going to get. Could add up to some flooding if some storms kind of train in some areas, just something to be very, very mindful of. And then that front will move through tomorrow afternoon in the Ohio Valley before having a cold shot of air. There's going to be some pretty cold air that's going to come down behind this system and kind of rebound those temperatures, as well as bring in the shot for maybe some isolated snow showers up in the higher northern Midwest as we get towards next week. The overall tornado risk today, I will show you guys this because the tornado parameters are showing some pretty low end values. Just something to be kind of mindful of. Like I was saying for tonight, have a way to get those warnings on your phone watches in case they get issued. Want to watch this. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a slight risk upgrade for a conditional tornado risk. The tornado parameters are pretty decent. Instability and poor lapse rates, like I said, are going to be the biggest thing that kind of makes or breaks this setup for tonight. But be very, very mindful if you're in eastern Oklahoma tonight. I do think the isolated tornado threat could be a little bit higher than what's kind of perceived here. That's just kind of my opinion on it. Just something to be very mindful of, and then it kind of goes away as we get closer to tomorrow. And then an isolated tornado risk may be in western Kentucky tomorrow as we kind of watch that boundary come through with a little bit of a low-level jet in place. So just something to be very, very mindful of. Like I said, nothing to panic over. Another thing I'll show you guys is going to be the instability values for today as well with this. I like to show all modes or all hazards or ingredients that you need to basically explain this to you guys. Instability, this time typically we need around 500 plus joules per kilogram to get some pretty decent severe weather, and we definitely will have that in place tonight. So this is going to be something to watch right around 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability. So this conditional risk, we're going to watch this. We're going to watch this one tonight. And like I said, we might break on live stream if we need to break on tonight to cover this, but is something to be kind of mindful of. We'll watch the trends for that. Now, overall, kind of what are we looking at for this week? What is Christmas going to look like as we get closer to that? We're 10 days away from Christmas, which is, like I said, wild. Here's the overall jet stream. Going to stay active. We're going to have these little kinks and these dips in the jet stream. They're going to allow for these not tropical, but these storm systems to move through here. We've got one here over the Ohio Valley now that's exiting, that's been bringing all that snow and precip up north. Rain yesterday here in the Kentucky area where we were at. We've got another dip in the jet stream here that's going to bring that severe weather threat for tonight across the Ozarks in Missouri and eastern Oklahoma area. That'll kind of bring some wind aloft with it there up towards the plains. Not expecting anything crazy with that. That'll move through today and tomorrow, and then we'll have a cold shot of air that's going to come down here on Wednesday and Thursday. Anytime you see those winds that trade out of Canada, this typically signals cold air. We'll look at that, what the temperatures are going to be here in just a moment. And then as we go into the portion of the weekend here, we'll have another cold shot of air, but really just looking at two major systems through the midweek here before kind of watching, get quiet towards the end of the weekend here. Maybe a high pressure sets up on Saturday and Sunday. And then we get closer to Christmas Eve, looks like we're going to have a couple systems in place, potentially looking at maybe some low pressure up here, maybe another one down here towards Christmas Eve. This one would probably be some snow. We'll probably have some rain, maybe an isolated severe weather threat potentially with this on Christmas Eve, which is something to be mindful of. We'll keep the trends going with that. And then as we get closer to after Christmas, kind of watching the pattern get a little bit more active, potentially maybe for some more significant severe weather, maybe towards New Year's. So it'd be something to be mindful of, not hit the panic button or any of that yet, but the jet stream does look like it's going to start to produce a lot of these dips. And when we get these dips in the jet stream, we typically see these bigger storm systems that can produce snow. You can get ice like we had yesterday in Iowa. We had a crazy ice storm in Iowa yesterday. There were accumulations of almost an inch of ice in downtown Des Moines. So just something to be very, very, very mindful of. But severe weather will probably make a return at some point. We're just going to have to, hope for the best here. As far as the overall temperatures go, I know everybody wants to see what that's going to look like. I do think we're going to have a warm-up over the next couple of days, and then we'll have that cold shot of air come in, and then another warm-up at the end of the week. But here's that warm-up, guys. We're going to have 60s on the board, high to low 50s, or low to high 50s. And then some 60s on the board as we go towards Wednesday and Thursday before that front comes crashing down. And then we'll have another warm-up potentially, and then another cold shot of air, and then another warm-up as we get towards the beginning of next week, where I think we'll have probably the most warmest air we've had of December as we get closer towards Christmas potentially. A scenario, so something to be very, very mindful of, not looking at any crazy cold shot of air on Christmas. So that's kind of really nailing down that we're not going to see a lot of white Christmases for people. That can change. We're still clearly over 10 days out, but just something to be very, very mindful of. I will be putting out these videos every single day. There will be possibly a live stream tonight, so be very mindful of that, guys. But other than that, that live stream will be on TikTok as of now, just in case. But if you guys are watching on everywhere else, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Be safe, be weather aware. Have a happy Sunday, and I will see you guys all in the next one.